Hello, my name is Zach Ireland. I'm the Director of Grading for JBS North America, the world's largest producer of quality beef products. And I want to spend a few minutes today talking to you about what makes a quality beef carcass. So, beef producers are critical to the finished product quality. The genetic, health, feeding decisions that are made on a day-to-day basis impact the final product in which we ship to our customers. So quality products are influenced in some way or another in every facet of the production cycle. So consumers demand quality on a consistent basis, and we're all codependent upon each other as part of the supply chain to produce and meet that quality demand. It's not an oversimplified equation that quality beef equals greater profits. And I'm not just talking profits for one individual person or one individual company. I'm talking for the whole entirety of the supply chain. This equation is not too simple. You've heard the old adage, you get what you pay for. Well, the bottom line is quality beef demands a higher profit in the marketplace. So things such as reducing carcass defects, like reduced bruising due to better animal handling, fewer injection sites by following beef quality assurance practices result in more saleable pounds in that carcass and thus more value to the entire industry. Greater lean to fat to bone ratios equates to better yield grades. With better yield grades comes a higher percentage of that carcass that is lean versus fat and bone. So our customers come to us to buy lean protein. They aren't here to buy fat and bone. That's something that's a byproduct and doesn't command near as much value. Consumers desire tender beef that looks great in the meat case, has great color, and meeting this need increases consumer demand, which is great for the entire business. So what are our customers saying about our product? Are they happy with what they're seeing or not? And here's some feedback that we're hearing. We're hearing, one, that we need improved consistency in sizing. And in general, our sizing is becoming too large for most of our customers due to heavy and increased carcass weights. So we need improved consistency in eating experience as well. We still have some bad steaks out there. We have some bad eating experiences that we need to get cleaned up. So we're also priced exceptionally high compared to other proteins such as pork and chicken. And in a lot of cases, we're double to triple their prices. So if we're going to charge that much money, we better come in with a lot of quality to back up and justify our higher prices. So our food service customers are telling us that their cuts are growing too large as well. They're cutting their steaks too thin due to the overall dimensional sizing to achieve the weight that they're looking for, such as you'll see a 12-ounce steak or a 16-ounce steak on the menu. Well, that determination of how many ounces is by the thickness of the steak they cut. They also need more Angus grinds. You might see a lot of Angus burgers that are featured in a lot of fast food restaurants. So our customers want juicy and flavorful beef, and in terms of carcasses, that comes from carcasses that are graded Canada Prime, AAA, AA. These are some of the higher marbling scores. Generally, carcasses graded A and lower generally have insufficient marbling to meet the juiciness, flavorness, and tenderness needs of our customers. They want tender beef, so they want young, youthful animals that are young in age. They also want the consistency and sizing, as we discussed, and that comes from carcasses that have 65 to 100 centimeter dimensional ribeyes. So as you see carcass data, etc., if you see ribeyes that come back over 100 centimeters or under 65, you know they're out of the dimensional sizing of most of our customers, which they're saying detracts from the overall visual appeal. So in order to meet our customers' demands and needs for moderate and consistent sizing in products, we need moderate, consistent carcass weights. Now, let me preface this to say that because of the lower head counts that we have seen in the beef business, we have compensated by increasing our hot carcass weights to meet the overall tonnage of beef production requirements that the market has demanded. So we've taken ourselves to the high side of acceptability. Now, not every carcass out there is too big for our customers, but we have greater and greater proportions of those carcasses that are becoming outside of ideal. Now, the ideal range is generally considered to be about 700 to 900 pounds. And so you might have some squabbles about where exactly you draw that line, but generally that is the accepted value. And in our last beef quality audit, we saw an average of 91 centimeters. And an 800-pound carcass, which is right in the middle of acceptability, would have approximately an 80-85 centimeter ribeye. So you can see that our average has shifted above the ideal. So oversized carcasses result in oversized cuts that are undesirable to our customers. In order to predict the final eating quality of a steak or roast, we use the carcass quality to make that estimation. So whenever our customers buy a product from JBS or any other beef packer for that matter, they're buying based on the value that is determined by the grade of the carcass, whether that's Canada Prime, AAA, AA, or B grade. They determine the value, market value of that through that grading process, through that quality determination process. So in order to determine that grade, they use the following. They use maturity, which would be the age. More youthful, the younger, the more desirable. They use marbling, which predicts juiciness, flavorfulness, and tenderness. And they also predict the yield of that carcass using muscle sizing and percent saleable lean. So we take all of that diversity that we have in our herd today, and we turn it into something that's a little bit more of a predictable package to the customer. Now, I want to say there's plenty of demand for AA, AAA, Prime, Certified Angus beef, all within those categories. So when I say improve quality, I'm talking improving the quality of what's within AA, improving the quality of what's in AAA, etc. So we take the diversity that's out there in sizing and with marbling and all these different characteristics, and then we sort them into different buckets, if you will. One bucket may be a lean, a lower marbling bucket to give someone a high lean to fat ratio. We may take another bucket, such as Canada Prime, and deliver it to a customer that wants juicy, flavorful, extremely tender beef. That's something that's high-end dining experiences. So we take all the diversity we have and try to put it into categories that the customer that's buying can understand. So to review how we complete this process, the Canada Beef Grading Agency grades and certifies carcasses into quality level. So, for instance, you see the slight. A youthful carcass that is slight marbling would grade into a AA. AAA has slightly more marbling. It's called a small, is the minimum requirement. A certified program such as JBS's Chef's Exclusive or Certified Angus Beef uses modest as the minimum requirements. So, and that is choice as well. So CAB and Chef's Exclusive would include the modest and moderate marbling. Slightly abundant marbling and higher would be called Canada Prime, and Certified Angus Beef has Prime product as well. So Canada Beef Grading Agency also determines at the same time the yield classes, and they predict that based off of the saleable lean, saleable yield they have. The higher percent lean to fat to bone ratios, the more favorable yield grade. The fatter, lighter muscled carcasses are in lower, less desirable yield grade. And then JBS takes those and sorts those into the appropriate. So we use this grading process to facilitate efficient trade, recognizable brands that customers walk up to the meat case, or a buyer from Japan calls us on the phone and says, I want certified Angus beef, or I want prime, or I want AAA. They know exactly what to expect from us in terms of quality. So I want to give an example on bruising. So in this example, we have a $22.66 value loss. And that's not just value loss to one person, it's the entire chain. I want to demonstrate that just a little bit. But in the picture, you can see that we bruised into the round of this animal. So the absorption of loss, $12, would come from less hot carcass weight to sell. That's valued at approximately $2 a pound. Of course, those market dollars change all the time. And $10.66 estimated towards the processing facility. From one, someone had to trim that out on the processing floor. And two, we have a cut here that is non-conforming. It's not complete. It doesn't have all the pieces of that muscle together. And so therefore, we have to sell it at a discount. So how often is the bruising occurring? And a significance of $22.66 is a lot of money on one animal. 86% of non-fed beef were bruised, and 34% of fed animals. That'd be primarily steers and heifers. So I think it's important to note here that a common misconception is that cows and bulls all end up in hamburger, and that's not necessarily the case. There's a very high percentage of the cuts that are used by a lot of our customers to make a lot of pre-cooked, quick fix products. So to summarize, beef quality starts on the ground level. It starts with the cow-calf. It continues on with the grower, then on to the feed yard, and then is even further valued by the packer and wholesaler. Your cattle are all a food product, including your cows and bulls. So each thing that you do on the farm impacts profitability, not just for yourself, but everyone else as well. And the extreme outliers are very, very difficult to manage. Extremely big, extremely small. Oh, but the great news is our future is incredibly bright. When we perform at a high level, we excel against our competitors. And we have a bright future because of that. So thank you for investing your time into learning more about what it takes to produce quality beef. And on behalf of JBS, I'd like to say thank you for your partnership if you work in production level or a consumer of beef products. And we're proud to serve you.